If the eyes are the window to the soul, what do your eyes say about you? Hey guys, it's Tarot and Beyond, and welcome back to my channel. In today's Pick a Card reading, we are looking at what your eyes say about your soul. How do people see you? What's the first thing that they feel when they look into your eyes? And what does that say about you? We have 3 options to choose from today: Group 1, Group 2, and Group 3. The timestamps are down below in the description box, or you can use the chapter notes to jump ahead to your chosen reading or readings, and we'll see you there. All right, hi group number 1. You guys chose the comic book looking eye. So the first thing that I want to do before we even jump into the cards is kind of just take a look clairvoyantly at what I'm seeing or picking up on psychically in regard to your eyes and really in reality, your soul. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, so the first thing I'm actually seeing is a unicorn, and this means a couple of different things to me. The unicorn represents purity. It also represents magic and the capacity for third eye connection. The horn is right over the third eye, so it's like magic and purity through truth, through that pure essence. So I feel like you have a very white aura, like the quality of your, and that's pretty rare, by the way. Having a white aura is super rare. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that your aura is pure white, but there's white in it, or it has a white glow. That's kind of what I'm seeing clairvoyantly. Now, this does denote purity, so there's probably a certain level of energetic work that you've done on your soul, group number 1. It feels like you have probably had some Reiki. You've probably had some spiritual activations. You've most likely been through some pretty big transformations on your spiritual evolution path. That's really what I'm feeling. I do also feel like you're a star seed. So that unicorn collective can be connected to the Pleiades and Pleiadians. So I feel like people really see that kind of the first thing. I mean, obviously they're not going to see what I see necessarily as like the aura color or unicorns, but they're going to notice something. It's like they look into your eyes and you have a very piercing stare, but it's not piercing in the sense that they feel like they're being undressed or they feel nervous in your presence. I feel like you have a very graceful approach to people, or you just give off this energy of grace. And so I think that you make people feel really comfortable in themselves, and you help people to see their own magic, is what I just heard as well. Yeah, you help people to see their own magic. So where they have kind of lost sight of their own truth, I feel like you illuminate that for them. You also might be somebody who's highly, highly energetically sensitive. You could be clairvoyant or psychic, but you don't have to be. It's more just like a sensitivity is what I'm picking up on. It's not necessarily super visual, maybe for a few of you, but I'm feeling like it's more so just like a state of being almost, like your whole auric field is just really sensitive, and it's quite big too. So you do tend to pick up on a lot of things that are going on around you, and the people around you kind of give off this imprint, and you're just very tuned into what is yours and what is not yours. I do also feel like you have this purifying and very cleansing essence to you. Like I said, like the unicorn is purifying. So you can kind of go into an environment and act as almost like a selenite crystal. Like I'll show you, like you guys might act like a selenite crystal. This one actually looks kind of like a unicorn horn. So you guys are kind of like that, right? And it's like you purify everywhere that you go. Let's say you shake someone's hand, there's a certain level of purification that you are providing to them at soul level. It's kind of like you're a walking bar of soap. Yeah, you're like a walking bar of soap, group 1. And I think that you help people break free from black and white, because they did just show me again the eye that you guys chose, and it's kind of like a comic book black and white style eye. And so I feel like the duality of white and black, dark and light, these types of polarity differences is what you manage to unify, because the unification of truth is what the third eye is all about at that higher level. So you're able to purify through your essence, through your sensitivity, through your approach and your grace, but you also kind of seed people with this higher truth of unification. So kind of everywhere you go, it's like you're dropping little seeds everywhere, or dropping little bombs even. Not necessarily like blowing things up or anything like that in a dramatic way. It's more so just that you kind of, you shake things up, you bring things into the light, you know, you just have this very pure essence that kind of may sometimes feel confrontational to certain people, but it's not like you are a confrontational person. I think that because you are so purifying, people who are very, very unconscious and very stuck in the duality and very much in that all or nothing black and white mindset, you may trigger them, okay? You may. It's possible because you are extremely cleansing. Like, I can't put it any other way. You're just extremely cleansing. So yeah, the people who aren't ready for that, it's kind of like, it might feel uncomfortable. Like a toddler who's really dirty but doesn't want to get in the bath. You know, they're going to kick up a fuss. They're going to throw a tantrum. So it's that kind of thing. So you might just want to kind of be aware of that effect that you have on people. It's not something that you're doing consciously. It's just what your soul does. It's just how your soul is. And especially when people look in your eyes. But other people who are already in a state of alignment, or who have done a lot of spiritual work, or who are more awakened and conscious, they will see you and immediately gravitate towards you, because unconsciously or consciously, even depending on their level of awareness, they will know and feel how pure you are. And so they will just naturally gravitate towards you, especially if they need help purifying anything, cleansing anything, or activating that higher level truth that you hold at soul level within your blueprint. So let's go ahead and dive into the cards now. The first deck that wanted to be here today is the Amenti Oracle. So let's take a look at this for you. I feel these two cards actually, yeah. Okay. I am open to love in various forms. Okay. So let me just take a look at this. Yeah, I just keep getting this purity, this essence of purity. I feel like you're a very loving soul. You have a lot of love that really radiates from your eyes. Again, I think that is part of the purification that happens, and why people tune into that. Next, you have I regard all altars with respect. So I feel like you're a very respectful person, and I think that's where the grace comes in, you know? It's like you walk with grace. You're not going to dismiss people. You're not going to trample over them. You're not going to bulldoze or steamroll or anything like that. You're probably more the type of person who you want to understand people, you know? You look into their eyes and they're looking back at you, and you just want to know who they are, and you're not trying to do that so that you can judge them against any moral standard. It's more just like, I just want to know and understand who you are, and I respect that, because everything that you are is a product of what you've experienced. So, you know, let me understand you is kind of what I'm feeling. And you're very loving. Yeah, and open to love in various forms. Like, it can take many different shapes. Again, I'm getting this like very graceful non-judgment. Okay, let's take a look at your other card here. You have Ether, the seamless unspeakable. Holy cow. Look at all the eyes in this card. This is the Whispers of Lemuria deck, and it called to be here as well. You know, I always listen to the decks. They have different personalities. They have different energy to them. And so I pay attention to the types of decks that want to be present in certain readings. So for this one, these are the decks that wanted to be here. The Amenti Oracle and the Whispers of Lemuria. And look at all the eyes in this card. I don't know if you guys will see that. It's kind of focusing, kind of not, but there's like a bunch of eyes. This looks very, very, very high level. We've got some dragons here. We've got, what is that? Metatron's cube. So there's some sacred geometry. There's some 12th dimensional dragons. There's definitely psychic abilities here, but I'm seeing it more like, yeah, I just heard ascended consciousness. I was going to say like more, even more along the lines of claircognizance. I feel like you guys are probably more claircognizant than anything else. And if you're not familiar with what that is, although I'm pretty sure you guys probably would be if you're here in this type of reading, but if you're not, I did do a reading on your dominant clairs, and you can check that out on my channel as well. Oh, I do feel this one right on top. Hold on. Luminescence. Oh my God, look at this card, you guys. Yeah, luminescence. You guys are luminescent. You, like I said, it's like you have this white light, it just radiates off of you. So it is very illuminating. It illuminates people, it lights up their darkness, it purifies them. It comes from love. It comes from a very balanced place. And she's here in the water in this card. So yeah, again, I do feel like you guys are very purifying. You give people a bath energetically when they look at you, when they're standing next to you, when you touch them, when you look into their eyes or they look into yours, very much so. Okay, I actually do want to get some of these cards as well. Yeah, I do feel this one. Okay. Radiance. Yup. See, like you're radiant. You have a very bright light within you. Your soul is very bright. I do get a lot of magic from you, group number 1. I see that. I feel it. And I'm getting that from the cards too. Okay, we have 2 more. Wow. Bottom of the deck is Dragon's Blood. What is it? Anima Mundi? Anima Mundi. I'm not even sure what that means. If you guys can translate that in the comments, please go ahead. But you have dragons here again. Okay, you guys, the dragons have been coming up so much in the past like 2 weeks. I mentioned this in the dragon reading on the member side of the channel. And I recently had a dragon activation myself, and they came to me in a meditation hypnosis session. So there's a lot of dragon activations. Now, because you have these 2 cards that have dragons in them, I do feel like you're connected to that. And dragons are a 12th dimensional, very high level consciousness that helps to ascend humanity. They help to purify, they help to cleanse, they help to evolve the DNA through higher consciousness embodiment. So if you guys are interested in learning more about dragons, you can check out that video on the member side of the channel, or you can do your own research, whatever you feel called to. But I feel like you have an affiliation to, or you're working sort of in partnership with the dragons, or maybe you're even a dragon soul. But I keep getting that sort of Pleiadian unicorn essence, so it's hard to say. Wow, you have Transfiguration with Jurgen Sacha. So the tower here in this card reminds me of the tower card in the tarot. So you may, it's like that toddler not wanting to take a bath type of energy. I feel like because you are so purifying and so naturally healing, this may cause people to kind of feel a little bit inflamed in your presence. And I was getting that also from this card, the little burning house in the back there. It feels kind of like you have a very powerful stare, like I said before. And it's because of that purifying or cleansing essence that people can sometimes feel like they've just been set on fire. You're also very activating. So cleansing, activating, purifying, all of these things. And some people are going to love that, and some people are going to feel really triggered by that. You also have Echinacea with Destiny. Echinacea reminds me of purification as well. It's like a very cooling, but it's almost like a burning cooling. Yeah, that's what I get from because those 2 cards, Jurgen Sacha and St. John's wort, both of those were like this burning energy, right? It's like fire in both of these. But I'm getting this like very cooling, purifying sensation. And that's what I'm seeing with Echinacea. It's like it burns, but it's cold at the same time. That's what I'm seeing. And so when people look in your eyes, they get this purification, this cleansing. It's like a minty fresh, It's like brushing your teeth. It's like it kind of burns, but it's cold and minty. That is like the best way I can describe your aura and like what people feel when you look at them in the eyes. It's like minty fresh. Mentos, the fresh maker. Yeah. Anyway, let's go into the Soul Cat Tarot for you, group number 1. You guys, you and your purifying Mentos eyes. You have the 2 of Wands. We have more fire here. Yeah, it's like you've got fire behind your eyes. You probably do work with the dragons then, because dragon souls usually have fire in them as well. So yeah, that makes sense. You have the 10 of Wands, more fire. Yep. You help to lift people's burdens is what I just saw and heard at the same time. They showed me, the 10 of Wands, and then they said lift people's burdens. So you guys lift people's burdens. You help them to, like I said, purify and cleanse those things. Anything that's been heavy, right? Anything that's been like weighing someone down, you just activate and help to release that. So again, this is not an active process. It could be something that you do. It could be something that you do consciously. It could be something that you even do professionally. But I think that for the most part, this is just kind of your state of being. It's just your essence. And they did just show me in childhood, this was hard for you because people didn't understand the level of your frequency, the level of your energy. Like certain people didn't feel safe to be around you is what I'm feeling. And not because you're dangerous, but because you're so naturally high vibrational. You're operating at a level that kind of makes people question their own reality, because what they have clung to and what they have thought was real in terms of the density they were operating at is like you come in and you're like this otherworldly being, and they're like, what the hell? Basically, it's like talking to an alien, and people don't realize this consciously, but this is what's going on behind the scenes. It's like they're talking to an alien or they're talking to a mythical creature, and that makes them question everything about their reality. So it's raising the consciousness. It's also bringing up these burdens and purifying and cleansing things. And so it can make people feel really uncomfortable. So what they showed me was that in childhood, you may have felt really ostracized, like people may have avoided you or pushed you out, especially socially. So if you were rejected as a child by like friends or other kids, that was why, or maybe even by adults. But I think it was because what they're showing me is like kids being like, get away from me, things like that. That's why, because you have such a pure essence that anybody operating at a lower dimensional consciousness is faced with this higher truth, and it feels scary in those moments for them. 5 of Swords. Yeah, exactly. So it's like you're operating at this whole other level and you challenge their reality. And that's why it can feel so threatening. It causes essentially cognitive dissonance. So the person goes into survival mode. That's why it doesn't feel safe. But it's not that you are unsafe. It's that you're challenging the reality that they've built. And that's exactly what the Tower card is about in the tarot. This is not the tarot. This is an oracle card. But again, it's like you crumble the foundations of the false reality that they were secure within or clinging to. But you help to bring about a more ideal reality. We have these 2 obelisks. So the people who do resonate with you really resonate with you. Obelisks were actually transmitters, and they were used as energy. They just said transducers? I'm going to have to look up that word because I don't know. I don't even know what that means. So yeah, but it's something about it transmitting energy, because that's what they showed me. It was like a radio tower giving off signals. That's what they showed me the obelisks were doing. So you give off these signals, and people who are operating at a similar or a same or a resonant frequency, they absolutely love you. They're drawn to you like a magnet. Yeah, they just said like flies to honey. Yeah, or bees to honey in this case, right? But yeah, any conflict that you've experienced in your life, especially in childhood, it was just a product of the fact that you're operating at a natural higher level than most people. And you have the 4 of Cups as well. Okay, let me get a clarifier on that. The Ace of Pentacles. And the Emperor. Okay, so I feel like when people look in your eyes, King of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck, they feel your power, first of all, okay? Like I said, it's so unconscious. People don't realize this is what's happening, but they feel your power. They can see it. And that it may feel a little threatening, but I think I think for most people who are not operating out of that fear-based timeline or template or blueprint or whatever, you actually offer something. And so the right people are drawn to you. The right people really trust you, and you actually help to create stability. So where certain people will feel unstable in your presence, other people feel really, really stable in your presence, and you actually help them to step into their own power. Again, through purification, through cleansing, through activations, through the fire that you hold within you. So you really do help people to become better, stronger, more powerful individuals. You radiate this template of honesty. I did just hear the word luxury as well. So you may be somebody who's very wealthy. Oh yeah, the Emperor and the King of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you may be somebody who's really good at manifesting physical wealth because you have this very, very natural high vibrational template at your soul level. And so it's super magnetic, basically. But again, anything that's magnetic is going to be polarizing by nature because that's how magnets work. So you're going to really super attract some things and really repel other things or people. Again, that may have been a contributing factor in what happened in childhood. And this is all part of your destiny. I forgot to mention that with the Echinacea card. You guys probably can read it, but maybe not because it's in super tiny print. But destiny, it says destiny on this card. So it does feel as though this is something that you've been doing for lifetimes. Like you've been developing your soul for a really long time, group number one. And that's why it shines through your eyes like no other. Like they just showed me laser beams coming out the eyes, but it's like white light lasers coming out your eyes. So again, it can feel very piercing, but it's so purifying. It's so purifying. It's like a mystical experience that some people have when they're in your presence or when they look in your eyes. And they might think like, oh, you're just beautiful and that's why they feel this way, or handsome if you're male or masculine. But it's really because of the purity and the level of enlightenment that you hold within your soul blueprint. Your template is very evolved, group number one. So if you felt drawn to this particular reading, you're most likely a very experienced soul. And I say experienced because old soul is a human term that doesn't technically apply in the non-physical because there's no time. So you can't be old, but you can be experienced, right? And so that's what I'm seeing is you're a very experienced soul. And that's why you've cultivated this level of high vibration and why you work with such powerful energies of the dragons and the unicorns. Yeah. Okay. So that actually, wait, they want me to pull one more card. Which one? Okay. I wasn't expecting to use this deck. So I didn't actually pre-shuffle it. Is it those three? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So you have Truth and Justice. That's what I mean, okay? You guys radiate truth and justice. Your eyes are like truth beams. Some people might feel really comforted in that because they see that you see the truth, and the truth is love. So you're not a judging person. You're not somebody who's going to condemn anyone for anything. But it's interesting that we have the scales of Amenti here, or the scales of Amenti, and that's the Amenti oracle. See on the back, the scales. And the whole story behind that is the weighing of the heart against a feather. And if the heart was lighter than a feather, you could pass over into the afterlife. So that's what I'm seeing here, is that you have a very light heart. Again, that's why the auric field has a lot of white in it. It's a very light, very high vibrational frequency spectrum. If we're looking at it in terms of color, right, it goes from these darker colors like red all the way up to violet and then white. So this is very high level frequency, very, very, very fast frequency rate that you have. And we have removal of obstacles. That's what I'm saying. Thank you, Spirit, for confirming. You remove obstacles. You lift people's burdens. You are naturally purifying and cleansing. So if you wanted to do this for work or professionally, you certainly could. Like you would be a very, very skilled or adept Reiki master, like using especially angelic Reiki or Yeah, just like any kind of energy healing or cleansing, because you're already doing that. Like that's just who you are. So if you even learned, if you learned a particular modality that resonated with you, or maybe you already have, I can see how that would really, really even, oh my God, you're kidding me. Purification. Just, wow. Like, I know spirit speaks the truth, and I do these readings every day, and I see the magic all the time, and I see the magic in my day-to-day life as well, even when I'm not using cards. But it's still always just kind of like, it just gets me every time that what I'm picking up on gets confirmed right away through the cards. Or you know, if I'm in a session with a client, I'm seeing something, I'm feeling something, I don't understand the context, but if I relay it, it's like there's confirmation, and the context is there within the other person's experience. So I just absolutely love this work. And I feel like this is something you'd be good at too, group number 1, if you're not already doing it. So yeah, see that white light around him? Was I not saying that since the very beginning? You have a very purifying aura, group number 1. And sometimes that can feel, like I said, triggering to other people. But it's bringing karmic balance. And I feel like you bless people who are ready to receive that. You help them lift their burdens. It's like you're a karmic catalyzer, they just told me. Yeah, you're a karmic catalyzer. So you catalyze the karma to either be released, if it's ready to be released, and like very spontaneously, or you catalyze it to come up and be faced, which is why I think it's so triggering for certain people. Yeah. They just said it's like going into a hot sauna. Yeah, you're like causing people to sweat stuff out of the system, going through like a detox. You're just like a walking detoxer. So people look in your eyes, or they stand next to you and they feel that, and it can be really, really nice and cleansing and healing, but it can also be triggering. Okay, so I'm basically just repeating myself. So I think I'll stop there, and I think you guys have got the point here. But wow, what a powerful soul you are, group number 1. Thank you for being here. I'm honored that you were drawn to this reading and that you let me read for you in this way. Just such a powerful soul. So yeah, you are a walking blessing. And if you feel like people are rejecting you, pushing you away, or triggered by you, just understand that this is why. It's not anything that you're doing wrong. It's actually a good thing. And if you understand that and embrace it, you can actually use it and direct it intentionally for those who really ask for it or need it or request it. So yeah. So thank you guys for being here. I hope this reading resonated and gave you some insight into your eyes and more specifically your soul. If you guys are interested in learning tarot, I have Tarot 101 now available. So it's tarot for beginners. We're going to be going over all of the card meanings and also how to begin using tarot on a practical level to read for yourself or others, plus a little bit of intuitive development support as well. So if you guys are interested in that, sign up now as spots are filling up, and you can use the early bird pricing discount for 20% off. Put in early bird, all caps, all one word, at checkout to receive that discount. Okay. And that's before December 15th. So you got to use it soon. Okay. So yeah, use it soon. Okay, guys, thanks again for being here. I love you, and we will see you in the next reading. Bye. All right. Hi, group number 2. Welcome to your reading. So the first thing that I want to do before we kind of jump into the cards here, there's actually 2 cards that already popped out when I was doing a little bit of pre-shuffling after doing group 1's reading. But I want to start by just kind of looking in clairvoyantly and seeing what I can get energetically from your auric field, your soul, and specifically how that's expressed through the eyes. So let me just go ahead and do that now. Okay, so like right away, within about 2 seconds, I saw you are deep, like there's a depth to your eyes. It's like looking into a bottomless pit or like looking into a well. And it's almost like there's, even if there is a bottom, it doesn't look like there is. So it's again, like I keep getting this imagery or this feeling of deep, deep, deep depth to your eyes. So I think when people look into your eyes, it's almost like they can get lost in them. They can kind of almost get hypnotized by the fact that they seem to go on into infinity. It is kind of like looking into a well, and they can also kind of see themselves looking back at themselves. It's like you have this infinity mirror effect. Have you ever been in a bathroom where there's a mirror on one side and there's also a mirror on the back? And so it's kind of like it's reflecting itself and it just mirrors back and forth and it kind of goes off into infinity. It's like that. Okay, so it's like extremely deep, but it's also kind of an optical illusion. So crazy, but that's what I'm seeing. So when people look in your eyes, I think the first thing that I'm getting is that they can kind of get lost in them. But the other thing I'm seeing is they can sometimes feel confused because they don't know what to make of that. It's like they're just kind of looking at nothing, but also looking at themselves. It's very odd. It's kind of like being in the void space. So I think people are kind of a little bit unsure of what to make of you when they look in your eyes. Energetically, this is what is happening. And so they may not really kind of fully process that consciously. But on some level, they're like, what? Like, that's kind of what I'm seeing. Like, wait, what? What am I looking at here? Who am I looking at here? Because with some people, you can look in their eyes and you can get a pretty good idea of who they are. You can feel into the energetic signature of their soul, which is exactly why I wanted to sit down and do this reading today. But for you, it's like nobody can peg you down because it's like there's nothing there, but also everything. So it feels very much like the void space. Okay, so let's look at your cards without further ado. So the first one we're going to look at is from the Whispers of Lemuria deck, and you have the sacral chakra, core of creation. Interesting. Yeah, I do feel like the core of creation, this is kind of like the void space. The void space, I just keep getting that. It's the place where everything is born from. So it's everything and nothing. It's like infinite potential. Right. Yes, that's what I mean. It's like the infinity mirror. It's like infinite potential. So I just keep getting this message of depth. So let's keep going. I'm going to look at the other card that came out. I achieve with integrity. Okay, the first thing I'm noticing about these two cards is that look at the imagery. They're almost the same. Holy crap, that's so crazy. They're both like these radiant sun-like orbs with those rays coming off of them. Okay, so I'm not even feeling like it's about the sacral chakra or I achieve with it integrity. It's like not even about what's printed on the cards. It's like literally Spirit just wanted these two cards to be here today because of the imagery. So there is a very bright light within that void. It's kind of like, it's like the God source energy. That's really what I'm seeing. Whoa. And, oh yeah, they just, whoa. Okay. Sorry, hold on. Give me a sec. Okay. What just happened was I had like this reverberating Om frequency go through my body, and the Om frequency is connected to God source. That's kind of like the sound of creation. So again, this is like very fundamental I just heard creatrix. So it's like creator matrix energy, and it's connected to the God source core. And it's like you are kind of like a God source seed. I mean, we all are. We're all God. We're all source embodied. We're just fractals of that. But there's something within you that you hold one of those core templates. It's like a very it's a very fundamental energy. And I've felt something like this once before in a client session. One of my clients, she actually channels symbols. She channels these like sacred geometric symbols. And she showed me one of these symbols one time after we'd already done the session, because the second I saw it, it was like I got like hit in the face almost with this huge blast of powerful energy. And it kind of felt like being in front of a speaker, like when, you know, that commercial with the big old speakers and the guy sitting in the chair and he's like getting blown back by it. That's how I felt in that moment. I was like, I just got blown back by source energy. And it was like this really deep, intense, like really solid energy. It was very ancient is kind of what it feels like ancient, like it's from the beginning, like, oh yeah, whoa, I just got a huge chill through my body. This is actually activating me today doing your reading. Okay, so that's powerful, because usually I'm the activator. So you may be getting an activation too. Source is like bringing through these source codes. That's what it feels like, source codes. But what they told me was, in the beginning there was sound. Before there was light, in the beginning there was sound. And what they showed me is like, it's like it's like bass. It feels like bass to me, like really loud bass, and it kind of like shakes your whole body and you can feel it in your heart. That's what it feels like. But it's like this very sacred ancient power of source. So anyway, that's what you give off apparently. When people look in your eyes, it's like that infinite depth that's connected to the void space, which is essentially the source code, like the one of those source codes is within you. So anyway, you trigger fear in people sometimes, sort of similar to group one, but in a very different way. For you, where group one was purifying people, and that can sometimes be triggering because they're at a higher vibration and they kind of detox people. For you guys, it's like you shake the foundations of the earth. It's like this really intense, almost Titan-like power, it's like the Titans. It's like this very anchored, grounded, rooted power that's like fundamental. So I feel like you kind of trigger fear in other people when they don't understand that, because it can kind of blow them back, It's like it blows them back in their seat type of thing, like having loud bass blasted in your face. If they're not ready for that, it can startle them at the very least. So you do, I think, shield that most of the time. I'm seeing like a layer that you kind of unconsciously, this is all happening very much below the surface. I don't think you're necessarily aware that this is what's happening, but at soul level, you kind of shield or block that. So when people look in your eyes, they will still get that feeling that they're looking into a deep well and they're not sure who's looking back, but they can't quite see past that into what is actually behind that, which is the source code. Because if they did, it might completely shatter their reality. Like, this is so intense, you guys. Oh my God. I was not expecting to sit down and have this kind of stuff come through. But Spirit wants to talk about what Spirit wants to talk about. And that's what I'm seeing. So you're very intense, and I think you shield that to partially protect other people because sometimes they're not ready for that. And you do have a very activating energy. It's like from the root chakra. So you activate people at the DNA level physically. Kundalini activations. You might be somebody who does Shaktipat activations. I think that's for one person, but it could be for more than one. I'm not sure. But it felt like one person specifically in this group does Shaktipat. Whether you realize it or not, that's kind of what's happening. So yeah, it's like these source code activations that you are like reverberating. Whew, yeah, okay. So let's go into the Soul Cat Tarot. Got that King of Pentacles. So root chakra. Yeah, that's what I was getting. You did have the sacral chakra, but I'm feeling it more so in the root. I think sacral's the neighbor of the root chakra. So that's probably involved here too. And you have the moon card. Yeah, it's veiled. You veil it. You shield it. You don't show that. You show the watery depths, but they don't see what's underneath that. It's like they can see that the ocean is very dark and deep, and they're kind of like, ooh, that feels a little ominous, or ooh, that feels a little intriguing, depending on how they're, how they've dealt with their fears. But they don't see that under the water, it's like this massive, like, cosmic being. I just don't even know how to describe it, you guys. I'm trying. Okay, it's big. Yeah, I keep getting this energy of a Titan, like a Titan. It's like, and and they just showed me the scene from Lord of the Rings where she's like stronger than the foundations of the earth, and she's got that light radiating out of her. It's kind of like scary power, honestly. Like that's when Galadriel is tempted by the One Ring. It's like she, in place of a dark lord, you will have a dark queen, and something like that. So I don't think that this is bad energy. I think this is good energy. It's just very intense, and it is a very sort of solid vibration, which is of a lower frequency rather than a higher one, but it's not lower in a negative sense. Okay. So I want to be very clear about that. Lower doesn't always mean bad. It's like a base level frequency. It's root chakra. It's very pure. And it's very much connected to source, but it is fundamental. It's like the bedrock of the earth. It's so solid. And I think that's why, because it is so powerful and so sort of fundamental in that way, that it needs to be shielded to a certain extent. Your soul has only brought a piece of itself into this incarnation because the whole thing is just astronomically large. Like there's no way that your physical body would be able to hold all of that. So you took in just a very, very small fraction of that. But yeah, you have immense power, group number 2, like immense power. Okay, let's look at this other card. You have 7 of Cups. Again, I feel like people, when they're looking at you, it's like looking into water or looking into a well. They're just seeing the reflection for the most part. Or they just feel confused. Yeah, the 7 of Cups can be about confusion. And that's what I was getting before. Yeah, that was like one of the first messages, was people feel a little bit confused when they look in your eyes because they're really not sure what's that, what they don't know what they're looking at. You also have the Wheel of Fortune. And the 7 of Pentacles. So 2 sevens. 7 is a highly spiritual number. Okay, what am I getting from this Wheel of Fortune and the 7 of Pentacles? They're telling me that coins are important here, because there's coins in this card, and then there's these like chips or coins stacked up in the Wheel of Fortune as well. Okay, what's that about? They keep telling me the odds may feel like they're stacked against you. I don't know why. This could be having to do with money. And they keep showing me the cat's eyes again, so it's almost like people feel at odds with you, maybe? No, that doesn't feel quite right. Hold on. Oh, you're in the illusion too. Yeah. You entered into this illusion just as much as everybody else did. That's part of signing up for being incarnated in the 3rd dimension. We go through the mind wipe, we forget, and we're only really embodying a very small portion of our soul, especially for you, because like I said, your soul is gargantuan. So you may feel like the odds are stacked against you. You may feel like you're not very powerful. You may feel confused. You may feel ungrounded, or like you're experiencing lack in some way, possibly financially, because we do have the King of Pentacles, 7 of Pentacles in the wheel. But it could be in other areas of the physical. Maybe it's health. I don't know. But it does give me this feeling that like you have no idea what your power is, group number 2. Like absolutely no idea. If that's the case, if you're feeling confused and if you're feeling ungrounded and you're feeling unstable in your physical life, if I could but show you one fraction of your soul, if I could but mirror that back to you and let you know your power, you would be blown back in your chair. The way that I was when that client of mine showed me that source code in the geometry. And I hold that code now because I saw it and interacted with it. So I feel like I'm almost transmitting that to you. So I was getting activated. Now I'm giving you an activation as well at group number 2. So I think this is going to help you to see yourself a little bit more clearly. I think that's why probably your higher self and spirit drew you to this reading today, is because there has been some illusion, because you've veiled yourself from yourself, not just from other people. Because to understand your true power, it would kind of blow your mind a little bit, like maybe a lot. Like it would blow your mind a lot. And so you kind of did that, I think, purposely, to see what you could do with a lack of awareness of your power. But you're an infinite being. I mean, we all are, but you have a very particular frequency at soul level, and it shines through your eyes very, very clearly. That is like a fundamental building block of creation. Okay, so you can really create anything. I just heard you can manipulate karma. And then they took me to the word creation and integrity. Yeah, your soul has these pure source codes, and so you can transcend karma. You can create karma in a different way than some other people. You kind of live half in the matrix and half out of it. I've never seen anything like this before, so I don't really know what to make of it. I'm trying to describe it as best I can, but it's kind of like you've got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You've got 1 foot in your infinite self and 1 foot in the physical realm, and you're not aware of that on some level. It's like you feel like you're fully here, but you're not. And so it's almost like you can't change the law of karma, because it's one of the primary laws of the universe. It's like one of the first distortions after the law of one. But I think that you're a very high level creator being, and so you're able to work with karma more efficiently than someone else who's not in that position or role as a soul. It's like other people might have to go through like layers of unpacking different karmic cycles, and they might have to do a lot of very personal internal work, and they might have to also reflect that back in how they're doing relationship stuff. I don't see that for you, group number 2. And I wasn't expecting to talk about karma today, but here we are. You are able to take your karma and kind of spin it like a top, is what they just showed me. What does that mean? You're able to get it outside of the illusion. Okay, I'm going to do my best to explain this, group number 2. What they're showing me goes very much beyond human consciousness, or at least my current level of understanding. But what they're showing me is that they showed me, what are those things called? It's like a movie reel, like the old style movie reels, where it's like you take a picture and then there's a light and there's a projection. And if you spin the wheel around, it looks like the picture is moving. And that's how we actually created pictures, and why they're called movies, because it's literally just moving pictures. It's kind of like that. So what you do at soul level is you spin your karma like a top, and the faster you spin it, the more you can see the full picture of it. And it's like you can kind of speed it up and slow it down at the same time, and then you're able to completely deconstruct it. I don't know what that means for you in your daily life. I don't know what that means for you in terms of your spiritual journey. This is like almost out of my range of, it's almost out of my wheelhouse or out of my area of expertise, because I've not seen this type of thing before. And I've worked with hundreds of clients. So yeah, I don't really know what to make of this. What is this? Oh, they just showed me the wheel. Literally a roulette wheel spins. And that's what the same kind of image they were showing me of the movie reel. Or it's like a shadow box or something like that. What does this mean? Okay, they said that you are the central point. Everything spins around you. You're the image. So when you spin the image faster and you change yourself, you shift what's being projected. Okay. Yeah, it's like you are the light within the system and you are the image and you control how quickly or how slowly that kaleidoscope spins. Okay. I don't even know. Okay. This reading, group 2, is just, I don't know. It's like next level. If this makes sense to you, great, because it really doesn't even make sense to me. But you also have peace and serenity with the dove. I'm just like, I'm getting confused even just talking about this. So I can see why you get confused and why you confuse other people. It's because it's like, it's beyond the scope of human, the human mind's ability to comprehend these things. And Spirit's like trying to show me in terms of like these symbols and stuff like that, but it's even that, it's almost like it's too hard for me to understand. So I'm just going to move on, okay? But basically, your eyes are very deep, very confusing, and extremely powerful because they're connected to this creatrix energy within you, this creative matrix within you. So anyway, peace, serenity, and the dove. Moving on. This is that deep, grounded inner peace that I feel from you. You know what they actually just showed me was the dove in, what is it, like the story of Noah's Ark, when Noah builds the ark and then God floods the earth and he sends out the dove to go and search for land. You're like the God that flooded the earth. What? Okay, so I could try and keep going, group number 2, but I'm getting almost like, I feel like I'm spinning like a top right now. I feel like the room is spinning like, you know, when you're really drunk and you got the spins, like that's how I feel right now. So I feel like that's how you make people feel. It's like you're so deep and so intense and so powerful that people get the spins when they're in your presence. That's why you're so confusing. It's because people don't know what to make of that. It's like too much almost, you know, but it's really this like deep and profound power, but it's like it doesn't compute with this world, with this matrix, with this reality, because it's like you're holding a completely different universal template is almost what it feels like. Like you're connected to a universe beyond this universe. Does that make sense? And you're channeling that energy through you at soul level. Again, it's a very small part, but it's enough that it's really kind of insane how much and how powerful that is. So yeah, I just get like the primary thing is intensity. Like intensity. You're extremely intense, and that's what people see when they look in your eyes, is the intensity. And it's a little disconcerting, to be honest. It's a little confusing, but it's extremely powerful, and it's very deep and pure. But it's like fundamental purity. It's not the type of light, graceful purity like in group 1. It's not like this unicorn energy purity. It's like this, the mountain came alive purity, you know? It's like the foundations of the earth. So anyway, I think I'll just leave it there because I almost need to just kind of like step away and integrate all of this myself, because I just feel like I got really kind of bowled over by this reading, and I need to ground or something like that. So I'm going to do that. If you guys need to do that too, feel free to join me in that separately, but together. Okay, so anyway, so random. But yeah, that's what I have for you, group 2. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I don't know what to make that. I feel like I'm walking away more confused than I was when I came into it. But at least the information was pretty, you know. Anyway, I feel like I'm rambling. I can't even string a sentence together. Okay, so I'm going to end it there. Thank you guys for being here. I won't even say anything more about this reading. If you guys are interested in learning tarot, let me just talk about that, okay? Something ground me back into this reality. If you guys are interested in learning tarot, I have Tarot 101 now available. So it's a beginner level tarot course, which is going to be presented in a webinar style 3-hour presentation on Zoom. It will be interactive if you guys want to ask questions, and we're going to be going through all of the basic meanings of the cards, the elements of the cards, the major and minor arcana, the court cards, all of those things. We're also going to be looking at how to use tarot in your daily life and make it a practical practice to read for yourself or others, or just to get to know tarot and working with the symbolism within it. You will also be talking a little bit about intuitive development as well, although I will have a completely separate class for that coming probably sometime even later in the new year. So if you guys are interested in signing up for Tarot 101, jump on it now. You can use the early bird discount before December 15th. Use code earlybird, all caps, all one word, at checkout to receive 20% off. And pricing is in Canadian dollars. So sign up, get yourself a spot, and come ready to learn some tarot. All right, guys, thanks so much for being here. I love you, and we will see you in the next reading. Bye. All right. Hi, group number 3. Welcome to your reading. You guys chose my favorite eye. It's like the very feminine, beautiful, colorful, purpley eye. So I'm interested to see what we're going to get here. So before we jump into the cards, what I'm going to do is just tune in psychically, clairvoyantly, to see what I can get initially around what you give off at soul level in terms of what people see through your eyes. So let me just go ahead and do that right now. Okay. So the first thing that I see is bubbly. So you may have a very bubbly personality. They're showing me eyes crinkling like laughter. Yeah, so I'm getting something like bubbly, fun, happy, effervescent, very smiley. Yeah, it feels like joy. It feels very light. Yeah, effervescence, probably the best word that I can describe it. So when people look in your eyes, I feel like they get a dose of that. It's like, you know, you don't just smile with your mouth. You smile with your whole face, and your eyes light up, and it's like it sparks joy for people because you are experiencing this pure joy in that moment. And it's almost like that's contagious. You know what I mean? You know what they just showed me? The effervescence that I was getting initially was like bubbles of champagne. And they just showed me in Willy Wonka when they're in that like bubble room and they have those like levitating suds or whatever. So they drink the thing and then they end up floating up the wall. That's what it means. Like they're like laughing and giggling and, well, except for the fans at the top. But if we just take that out of it, that's kind of what I'm getting from you at soul level. When people look in your eyes, it's like, it just makes them feel lighter and more bubbly and more fun and filled with joy, because that's kind of what you are and that's what you radiate. Okay, so we're going to go into a couple of different decks here that I've intuitively chosen. I think, yeah, we're going to start with the, oh, okay. I didn't even shuffle it. It just like flipped right out as I was pulling the cards apart. So you have full spectrum. And I just want to get a look at this card because I haven't seen this one before come out. So, I'll let you guys look at it too. I'm not going to hog it. So the full spectrum. Wow. So the one that I'm really being drawn to is actually the heart chakra, right in the center of her chest there. I feel like you guys have a very well-developed heart chakra. And so the type of energy that you give off is very loving, very heartfelt, very compassionate. And I think that's why it's filled with joy and playfulness, and why people enjoy being in your presence, and why you bring them a sense of joy is because you are very just kind of loving by nature, and that really does radiate. It's also very healing. So the heart chakra, the gift of the heart chakra and people who embody that type of energy is to hold space for other people in a very safe way. So people can come around you and just feel kind of held in your presence, even if you're not doing or saying anything. It's almost like you have this very nurturing, very safe, very open and unrestricted type of approach or energy or just presence in general. And I feel like that's why people really can kind of let loose around you, and they can giggle, they can laugh, they can be themselves, because that's the energy that you hold within you. That's the template, but it's also what you're kind of creating. It's like, this is a safe space where we can play. And they just showed me like a kindergarten room. And like, do you guys remember in kindergarten when there was like those like mats, or there's maybe like a carpet on the floor, and there was like toys and tables and stuff all around, maybe some bookshelves or whatever, and everybody would kind of come and sit on the mat, or they would sit on the carpet all together. It was like, that was like a safe space, and everyone can play and just be themselves. That's what it feels like. It's very innocent, very childlike, very pure, in the sense that it's safe. My throat just went like so I think that you help people be their more authentic selves. When they look in your eyes, it's like they can see that you hold unconditional space for them in that way, and so they can feel more free to just be themselves and express, especially if they've had a hard time doing that. The throat chakra is to do with authentic self-expression. So if they've repressed any parts of themselves, I feel like you kind of bring that out in people in like a really beautiful, fun, childlike way. It feels very innocent. Okay, we have 2 cards coming out from the Amenti Oracle. I spread joy. Yeah, like, this is what I'm saying. Spirit just so on point with the cards always. They just confirm exactly what I'm getting. So you guys really hold this energy of joy, and you spread that joy, and you open people. Look at the way that she's got her chest all the way out. Again, it's like you lead with the heart. You're very open. You are very authentic, which is like it's like a very, I don't know if it's like an intentional form of intentional form of vulnerability, but like vulnerability in this case being a good thing, because you're having the courage to show up fully authentically without any guards. It's like you're leading with the heart, you're wearing your heart on your sleeve. And again, this is what helps people to feel safe to do the same. And what makes you so joyous is that you're not holding any part of yourself back, and you're opening up that space for other people to do the same, where they can really just, it's almost like, yeah, they keep giving me this childlike energy. Like, when you were a kid and you could just go up to someone and be like, hey, want to be friends? And they'd be like, yeah. And then you just have a great time together. It's like that. Like, there's no stigma, there's no judgment, there's no warped perceptions. It feels very open and authentic, and that's what's so beautiful about it. Oh, and you have I am humble as well. Okay. Yeah, I can see that for sure. Yeah, very humble, because you have a really good sense of self-awareness. Group number 3, that's what I'm getting. It's like you have a very good sense of self-awareness. And again, you help other people to return to their natural state. And because you're so humble, they don't feel threatened by you. You have a very, very nurturing, and yet it's not like you're in the mother role. It's like you're like in the child role, and you kind of bring out the other person's inner child. So I think you're probably a very fun person. And when people look in your eyes, they see that, and it makes them smile. Yeah, makes them smile. Okay. Let's get some tarot cards from the Soul Cat Tarot. Okay, I didn't even shuffle, and the cards just like flip out. 6 of Wands. Victory, success, confidence, but like humble confidence. You know what I mean? It's the confidence of just enjoying yourself. Okay, this is a great example. When you're just doing something that you love and you're having a good time doing it, and so you're so happy and so in the moment that you just don't even think about what anybody else is thinking of you. It's like you're not paying attention to anything on the outside because you're so fully immersed in the experience. That's kind of what I mean. It's like losing yourself in the music and letting your body just move to the rhythm. It's very authentic, it's very natural, it's very fluid, and it's playful. And because you're so immersed in that experience of joy, again, it's like it's so authentic and inviting and like vulnerable, but at the same time it's not threatening or anything like that. It's very open and welcoming. So people see that and they're like, oh, I want to dance too. It's like you inspire other people to really connect back to themselves again. I just keep getting that message that you spread joy and you help people to find their own joy again. Like, I can't stop smiling in your reading. My eyes feel like they're getting tired from like crinkling up like this from smiling so much. My cheeks are starting to hurt. It's like that. I like belly laughs, like snorting. It's just not even caring what other people think, just enjoying yourself. I think that's beautiful. Page of Cups energy. Yeah, this is like wearing your heart on your sleeve. This is exactly what I'm getting. You're very emotionally open, very young and childlike. That's the Page of Cups too. Like very young and childlike, playful, innocent, authentic. You just want to connect. You just want to experience the beauty and joy and pleasures in this world, and you want to share that with others, and you want to do it in a very sort of grounded, humble way. Like, that's what I'm getting. You have the King of Cups as well, so 2 cup cards. Again, very much heart chakra based, for sure. This is the realm of emotion, and I'm seeing that you are. It's beautiful because it's a nice balance between the childlike innocence, but also the grounded maturity. It's like you're like the kindergarten teacher, and you're also the child in the class. So it's the maturity and the compassion and the nurturing and the care paired with the innocence and the joy and the childlike view of the world. It's like you're seeing the world through the eyes of a child. It's like you're seeing it for the first time, and everything's magical and beautiful and fun, and you're just always looking for what's going to bring more joy to your heart and how that's going to also impact others. So when people look at you, they're like, wow, I want to be around this person because I just feel good when I'm with them because they're so happy. And but I don't think that you've necessarily always been that way. I think that you were that way when you were a child, group number 3. I almost called you number 1, so I feel like there may be a connection to group 1. And I just saw 1111 on the recording time too. But I feel like you were like that as a child, and then you may have gone through a period in life that was a little bit more hard for you, and you had to do a lot of introspection work because you also have the Hermit card here. So you probably had to do a lot of deep diving into yourself and maybe do some heart healing, which may have been what humbled you, and you may have had to explore the full spectrum of your being at that point and let certain things die or let certain things go. But I do feel like you came out of that very victorious, like you put in some hard work. So again, it's like you've paid your dues, group number 3. You didn't just like get born into this world and really just have it easy. I feel like you had that childlike purity, you had that loving heart always, but it was challenged at some point in your life, maybe for a while. But like I said, I feel like you overcame that. The Hierophant. I feel like you overcame that through study, self-study. But I think that you have this very natural curiosity, group number 3. It's like you're always looking for understanding, I guess, is the right word. You're always looking for not necessarily information in the traditional sense. It's not like you might be somebody who looks for information too, like reading or Googling things or, training or something like that. But what I'm getting is more kind of like you're just always looking to understand yourself and people better. I feel like it's very sort of humanitarian or philanthropic. I don't even know, but it feels like you want to understand so that you can better express the truth of who you are. Does that make sense? And then you have the Rabbit with pregnancy and fears. But what I'm actually getting from this, sometimes I take the meaning of the card if it feels energetically like it's matching or like it's meant to be that. But what I'm actually getting for yours is more like softness. That's honestly what it feels like. Softness, dreaminess, childlike innocence, you know, like when you were a child and you used to pluck those little dandelions and blow them off, make a wish. That's what it feels like. And it's very soft, very innocent, very humble, very, very open-hearted. Yeah, very open-hearted. Definitely to do with the heart chakra, like 100%. Oh my God. And then we just get the heart card. Yeah. Literally, just as I was saying, it's definitely to do with the heart chakra. This is 100% confirmation. So you guys have a very well-developed heart chakra, and that's your dominant energy at soul level. And so that's what people see. The first thing that they look into your eyes, they see your heart, and they feel safe there, and you spread joy. Oh yeah, I do want to get an herbal medicine card. Actually, there's 2 for you. And on the bottom of the deck, we have offering with tobacco. So, oh, right. When we inhale something, it goes into the lungs, and the lungs are ruled by the heart chakra. Anything in the chest and even the arms and hands is ruled by the heart. So anyway, I feel like you offer a lot of your heart up to other people. Again, that's why they feel so much joy in your presence, and why you're just a very loving person is what I get. Very loving, very open-hearted. You also have elder with wisdom. Okay. The fairies really standing out to me. And with the rabbit and the fairies, this is like nature realm, nature spirits. So yeah, I do feel like the heart chakra is very much connected to nature, because the natural world operates at that frequency. It's like 5th dimension. And the 5th dimension is where it's sort of like the crossover point where we can start to interact with the fairy realm, the nature kingdom, animal souls and spirits, things like that. And that's what I'm getting from the rabbit and from this elder energy with the fairies there. But it's talking about wisdom. So you have wisdom of the heart. Like I said, you guys did not necessarily always have it easy. You've been through some stuff. We can see that here with the hermit. This is the wisdom. The hermit is an elder. He's at the, kind of end of his life, looking back and going, okay, this is how everything made sense. So I feel like you're very old and very young at the same time. And I've seen that before. I'm actually kind of like that myself at soul level. Sometimes when we're very, very experienced souls, we can kind of almost come full circle. It's like in the major arcana, when you go from the Fool, which is, well, here I have it already ready because I'm doing some preparation for Tarot 101, so I have it all kind of laid out on my desk. But the Fool is like this beginning, very childlike, very innocent, very open-hearted energy. You can see even in that stance that he's taking, it's very similar to the Joy card, chest out, leading with the chest, right? But then we go to the World, which is like the end of a major character development story that we've been living and experiencing. And we kind of full circle all the way back into the Fool again. It's like a starting point, and we retain all the wisdom from our experience, but we kind of return back to that innocence again. So it's like the experience didn't jade you. It didn't make you mature in the sense that you lost all of your childlike innocence. If anything, it's kind of like it's the best of both worlds. You have the maturity and you have the innocence. Right. And that's what I was talking about before with like being the kindergarten teacher, but also the child. Yeah. Yeah. And you have ayahuasca with rebirth. Holy crap. Group number 3. This is so cool. Look at that. Okay, like even in the card, there's a baby, there's like a fetus that's developing here in the womb, and then there's this elder like spirit guide. So again, I feel like you are both, and people see that when they look in your eyes. It's like you have this deep, deep ancient wisdom, and you're also extremely childlike and innocent. It's like a fairy. It's very much like a fairy, because the fairy realm is ancient, like very ancient. It's like outside of time. The fairies have existed for millions and millions and millions of years, if not more. But they're also very playful and joyous and light, That's what I see in your eyes. That's what I see of your soul. Yeah. Again, I'm getting lots of nature spirits, jaguar, snake, birds, the rabbit, the button, yeah. So you're very much connected to the natural kingdom, natural realm. Animal spirits are very important. They guide you, and you connect them. Again, animals are really drawn to people who have very dominant heart chakra energy. Why? Because that's the frequency that they operate at. That's the sort of like matching bandwidth. Does that make sense? And it's kind of like, I feel like you're very good with life, you know? So good with children, good with other people, good with plants, good with animals. Like dogs just love you, cats love you, that kind of thing. You're just, babies smile at you. And again, it's because you have this joy, this wisdom, but it's tempered with childlike innocence. It's this beautiful combination of things. It really is, group number 3. So I love your energy, just gotta say. And it feels kind of similar to mine. Like, I know that you guys don't see the really silly side of me on YouTube all that much because I'm doing work here, but I'm very much like that type of energy where I'm very kind of like bubbly and childlike in most of my regular life. So I feel like you guys are kind of like that. So go team. Very similar. Okay, anything else, Spirit? No? Okay, that's actually it. So that's really what they wanted to tell you, group number 3. The essence of your eyes is pure joy, and it's wisdom with innocence. So yeah, it's a beautiful combination, very heart-centered, very heart chakra based, and you do have a lot of love to give. So thank you for being here, not just in the reading, but here on this planet, on Earth at this time, in the natural kingdom, holding that 5D frequency of unconditional love and acceptance, spreading the joy and being the magical divine being that you are. I love you guys so much. And if you guys want to learn tarot, I have a new offering for you guys. It's Tarot 101. So this is going to be a beginner level class. It's going to be a 3-hour webinar / workshop that's going to be held on Zoom on January 3rd at 5 p.m. PST. It will also be recorded. So if you're not able to make it live, but you still want to sign up, you will get the recording of it with the timestamps. We're going to be talking about all of the basic meanings of the tarot. We're going to go through all of the cards. All of them are going to be explained in detail. We're going to talk about numerology, colors, imagery, symbolism, and the general meanings of each card. We're also going to talk about how to work with tarot in a more practical, hands-on way so you can start applying tarot to your life and maybe even offering readings to others. And also looking at intuitive development and how to enhance your reading abilities. So if you guys are a beginner, or maybe you just want to refresh or like a new fresh perspective on tarot, then sign up now. You can get the early bird discount for 20% off until December 15th. So act now, book your spot. They are filling up, and you can use the term or use the code EARLYBIRD, all caps, all one word, at checkout in the promo section to get that discount. Okay, guys? Thank you so much for being here. I love you, and we will see you in the next reading. Bye.